They are self-seeking arguments. If you want to listen to the issues in your constituency, why don't you organize town hall meetings for your people? They're not thinking about the economy, they're thinking about funerals.
Do we have to always go out there and queue and vote for these people?
Tonight's wave of public backlash compels government into a massive U-turn, withdrawing controversial ally which would have allowed MPs, ministers and judges drive with sirens and without speed limits.
Mr. Speaker, I write to move that the Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024, which was laid on the Friday, 14 June 2024, be withdrawn.
We have details, but is it true that a Speaker of Parliament did not know about this ally, as he claimed? We'll fact check that for you.
There is nothing like that before Parliament. There is nothing like that before Parliament.
Honourable members, the Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024 is accordingly laid.
We have details for you here on Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide mosquito coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Well, tonight, government has been forced into a massive U-turn following a wave of public backlash against controversial ally, which would have allowed MPs, ministers and judges drive with sirens and also without speed limit. Now, the justification offered for the ally was that these public officials should not be caught in traffic in the performance of their official duties. But a section of the public rejected the regulation as self-seeking. Listen to some of the people who spoke against the move on the Super Morning Show today.
You know, what if they are going for funeral? Is that what they're going to use the sirens for? Now, I'll print you a situation that I faced last year. I was called to attend to an emergency at a certain hospital, and honestly, I jammed traffic. And I was stopped by the police, and I explained to him, and he was gracious enough to allow me to go through. I was ready to pay the consequences, or if I have to be taken to court, but I needed to attend.
All the arguments that you made, they are self-seeking arguments. If you want to listen to the issues in your constituency, why don't you organize town hall meetings for your people to come and share their opinion? Those funerals that they say they attend is whose funeral? Not their personal friends' funeral. That is why our MPs are behaving like this. They have taken us for a ride for so long. I mean, look at the things they're taking us through. Look at what is happening in the economy. They're not thinking about the economy, they're thinking about funerals.
What the transport minister wants to do. They tell us that they represent their constituents, our interests. We are buying high cost of petrol. We are buying high cost of electricity and the rest. This is affecting the constituents directly, and nobody is doing anything about it. With their interest, they want us to, they want to go to Parliament and pass a law that will allow them to have their comfort. So my question is, do we have to always go out there and queue and vote for these people to satisfy their self-aggrandizement? I don't know what country, what kind of Ghana are we in?
So those were some of the reactions that you shared with the Super Morning Show team today. Now, that move pushed government to act. And we can now listen to the Minister for Local Government, Martin Mensah, withdrawing the LI on behalf of the Transport Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I write to move that the Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024, which was laid on the Friday, 14 June 2024, be withdrawn. Mr. Speaker, this has become necessary based on extensive engagement with leadership. It is so withdrawn, Mr. Speaker.
Regulation 2024 is hereby withdrawn.
Now, the minority who had put out a statement asking the government to withdraw the LI is asking for more. They are not just stopping at that. Now, according to Minority Chief Whip Kwame Agbeja, government should withdraw other unpopular regulations, including the one seeking to regulate the price of cement, which is still yet to mature into law.
I don't think you knew this is not what we decided. It was the comment. I cannot repeat the comment that was made at conclave. So, Mr. Speaker, they have decided that
an issue of national interest is not good looking on Parliament, especially government, and they have decided to withdraw it. Mr. Speaker, we have no business talking about it, but I can just remind them there are other allies that have been laid that the public is still not happy about. I will encourage them to withdraw those ones as well. Mr. Speaker, whilst the Minister of Trade is here, the ally that he laid on cement is also not, the public is not happy. We also come and withdraw yours as well. Come and withdraw the cement ally as well. Come and withdraw the cement ally as well.
So that was what happened in Parliament. But let's backtrack a bit and fact check some claims that have been made by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagman, on this controversy. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us with that. Kweku, tell us about the claim of the Speaker that he did not know about this and that nothing was before the House.
So this morning, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagman, was at the University of Ghana, and the public did take this opposition to him. They did ask him questions about why Parliament was seeking to enact this legislation. Mind you, this was coming from the Transport Ministry, and why exactly Parliament was allowing it to go through. The Speaker of Parliament then, at the time, this morning, claimed that first, there was nothing of that sort even before Parliament. That was the first claim he made. He made a second claim that as far as he's concerned, he has made some checks, no such ally has been laid, and that he was not aware of anything of that sort. Listen to the Speaker make those claims at the University of Ghana this morning.
And also, no speed limit. I mean, this social media thing, there is nothing like that before Parliament. There is nothing like that before Parliament. And so I thought maybe something was being done behind my listen. So I started calling all over, and all my director said no, they have not seen anything like that. I have the responsibility of admitting many of these things. Sometimes they may elude me, but I haven't seen any such thing. Then later on, I was told it was a regulation that Parliament was amended. We don't amend regulations. We don't have the power by the Constitution to amend regulations or instruments. We don't have. So to start with, I then told the people that no, that one can't be true. Our Parliament cannot amend. We have delegated, the Constitution, in fact, has delegated that power to other bodies, not to Parliament. And so when they bring an instrument, either in the nature of an ally, that's legislative, or CI, constitutional, if out of 100 provisions, we disagree with one, we are not even allowed to amend that one.
So, Kweku, the Speaker was quite categorical on this, but we fact-checked this statement by him. Is what he said true?
Brace, each and every single one of the claims the Speaker of Parliament made in that excerpt that you played is false, except the constitutional provision he quoted. First, there was the ally currently before the House, and in fact, you played the minister withdrawing that ally. So that ally was indeed before Parliament, and it was laid on the 14th of June. But what makes it even more surprising is that on the 14th of June, there was Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagman himself, who was in the chair when that ally was laid. The process leading to this ally, as we have now come to know, was that the Transport Ministry did propose an amendment to the road traffic regulations, and Parliament, through the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, chaired by NDC MP Dr. Dominic Ayine, did impress on the Transport Ministry to include some of these newly impugned provisions in that ally. And so in this new sound that you're about to hear, on the 14th of June, when this ally was laid, you will hear Governor Kwame Agboja then whistle some of the NDC opposition to it, but say that his chairman on that committee, which is Dr. Dominic Ayine, had given the clear for that ally to be laid. And then there was also Hassan Tampuli, who did lay that ally on the floor. And you will hear the Speaker of Parliament himself bang the gavel, laying that specific road traffic regulation. Listen.
So the Minister for Roads, Minister for Transport is called upon to lay that instrument. Yes, please.
Honourable Speaker, they were consulting and we wanted to wait for them to come. And so, please, let the magistrate, please, let's engage him.
I'm just told by the chairman of the committee that the concerns they raised have been addressed, so we can lay. We just hope that it doesn't become another controversy that, we've laid it and public says who did it, we don't know about it. So, Mr. Speaker, once the chairman has confirmed that it's been addressed, we have no objection to it. We can lay it.
Show me the provisions that we ask should be inserted. So, Mr. Speaker, it can be laid. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on Order 64.
Order what?
64. That we do not have the.
Okay, we take note of it.
We do not have the.
I've taken note of it. I know the contents and I know the procedure.
I wish you direct the bell is rung. But that's what the standing orders say. And I'm happy you have taken note. So if you could ask them to ring the bell. So
yes, the writing will be done.
Mr. Speaker.
Don't detail it for me. I know it.
Okay. So Mr. Speaker, is 1 minute.
You have my word.
1 minute past 2.
Yes. So please, can you present the instrument? Table office, kindly do the writing. Let the bell be rung for 10 minutes.
Road Traffic Amendment Regulations 2024.
Honourable members, the Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024 is accordingly laid and referred to the Subsidiary Legislation Committee for consideration and report to the House. The Committee on Transport could support the Committee of Subsidiary Legislation with whatever material they have in order to enrich the report that will be submitted to the House.
Well, so that's the Speaker of Parliament there, where, when this LI was laid. So that's the fact checking with it, that the Speaker was aware of such an LI. But in 2021, the presidency wrote a letter warning government appointees about the abuse of sirens. In that particular letter, the presidency sought to clarify the categories of persons and/or institutions allowed by the law to use sirens. Now, head of our legal affairs desk here at Joy News, Richard Kwajonyako, joins me in studio with some details of that letter. Richard, what were the details of this particular letter?
So this letter you talk about makes reference to date 5th December 2017 on the above subject, that is abuse of the use of sirens by ministers and other government officials. So it specifies the categories of vehicles that a siren or bell may be fitted as a warning appliance, and such categories of people include a government vehicle used for the official purposes by the head of state. The second one, a police vehicle, a motor vehicle used by the fire service, a motor vehicle used as an ambulance by a hospital or clinic, a motor vehicle used by other recognized government security agencies, and a bullion vehicle registered by the licensing authority. It goes further to say that any vehicle outside the above listed categories which is fitted with a siren or bell is thus in contravention of the law, and the operator is liable to prosecution. And for the avoidance of doubt, the said ban on the use of sirens covers the following government appointees: 1. Honorable ministers and deputy ministers, regional ministers and deputy ministers, metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives, CEOs of government agencies, and officials of the presidency unless otherwise designated. So this is what was contained in that letter.
So that was that letter. Then in 2021, what changed this time around? There's more to come here on Top Story. Now let's bring in Principal Research Scientist, Building and Road Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Kumasi, Dr. Williams Aka. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, if you look at the LI, it says the speed limit on a motor vehicle specified in these regulations does not apply to a motor vehicle when the motor vehicle is being used in the performance of official functions by the head of state, the vice president, the Speaker of Parliament, the Chief Justice, Ministers of State, Justices of the Supreme Court, Members of Parliament, the Ghana National Fire Service, the National Ambulance Service, the Police Service, the Armed Forces, the Prison Service, and other recognized government security agencies. Also, an ambulance used by a hospital or clinic, a bullion vehicle registered by the licensing authority, or a motor vehicle, if adherence to those provisions may hinder the purpose for which the motor vehicle is being used. aren't they right to say that because of the official, and the key word is official functions of these officers, this LI has to go through?
I disagree. Road traffic congestion, which is resulting in all this legislation, is a huge problem for the entire country. Most of the cities are now experiencing road traffic congestion, and if you are to look at the cost of this congestion, lost output resulting from delays, which all affect the economy, pollution as a result of this congestion as vehicles which travel at very low speed emit more pollutants into the environment. There's also problem of degradation of the road infrastructure as more vehicles spend on the road. They degrade the road. There's a problem of frustration. Now you have school children waking up around 4 a.m. just to prepare before they will be able to get to school. Issues of road traffic crashes resulting as a result of this traffic congestion affect everyone. It affects nurses, it affects doctors. And so solutions to this problem should be comprehensive, should be holistic, and not to a particular group of people.
So if it should be comprehensive, what kind of solution must we be exploring to deal with such a situation?
So what is happening, the traffic congestion situations in our cities are not sustainable. They are not. We have so many people owning cars, the population in the cities growing, and so the vehicle population also increasing, resulting in this congestion. So many of these vehicles are private vehicles, which is occupying so much road space. But when it comes to the number of people they are carrying, they are just few. We need a comprehensive approach to solve this. And this, you can't have a city like Accra with a population of 4 million people without an efficient public transportation system. And that is what we should be thinking about, right? A bus rapid transit system, which we attempted, for instance, which it failed. What legislation backed that? What did the parliamentarians do in terms of incentives and subsidies to support the Ayolulu system, for instance? What we need is to get so many of these vehicles off the road, which means that people will have to leave their vehicles, get into a public transport system, so that the road space will be free for the few people who will be using private vehicles to use. So we need an efficient public transport system, which I would say is what we need to be thinking about.
But as you alluded to there, we started the rapid bus transport system, but that didn't work. So where do we need to begin from, or what should government do in solving the situation you've enumerated there to ensure that we have a rapid transport system to help people, move to work at that early time or spend a little time in traffic?
I think there were so many problems with the implementation of the Ayolulu system. We should think of having an exclusive lane for the buses, provide a comfortable, efficient, safe, affordable buses, which so many of our public, even if government would have to subsidize, government will need to do that because there is so many advantages we will get in terms of pollution, for instance. Accra is so much polluted, Kumasi is so much polluted. If government will have to come in, the lost output, for instance, because people, the MPs are saying they are unable to get to places to perform their functions, right? Workers are also unable to get to these same locations to perform other activities, which is equally important to the growth of the nation. And so we need to do this. We need to provide an efficient transport system with exclusive lanes for the buses. The one we attempted, for instance, we didn't have exclusive lanes at locations where we attempted having what we call the queue jump up lanes. Truck drivers took over those lanes and we were unable to enforce it, right? So let's have an efficient transport system, exclusive lanes for the buses, and things will work. as I mentioned, you cannot have a city with a population of 4 million without an efficient public transport system. It doesn't happen anywhere.
Is government choosing the easy way out?
Sorry?
Is government choosing the easy way out? Legislating?
Exactly. And that is going to be more expensive. As I mentioned, people are owning private vehicles. The vehicle population will continue to grow, right? Which means that we are building the traffic. It's not practical for government to keep on expanding lanes. You see, we had 1 lane to increase it to 2 lanes. The road gets filled up again. 3 lanes. How many lanes can we go? What we need is an efficient public transport system. That is the only way out.
Doc, hold for me. Let me bring in Dr. Rashid Rahman, who is the Executive Director for the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Let's look at the legal or parliamentary aspect of this one. Doc, I'm grateful for joining us. What happens to this ally that has been withdrawn?
Well, I don't know what has happened to it, whether it's dead or, they are going to repackage it and bring it. But it's not an instrument that is well thought of. The timing of it is bad. What it is trying to deal with, I think, is a little bit insensitive. We are all, facing, the challenge of the madness on our road and the congestion. Rather than they trying to find a solution for everybody, a group of people is being isolated. So for me, I think, especially at a time when also many are saying that these are public officials, have not performed the functions that we hired them to perform. Both, when you talk about Parliament, all the challenges, you take your cameras. Yesterday, there were only 24 people in Parliament. Our economy is facing all kinds of challenges. The only conclusion is that people are not doing their work. And then to create more problems by trying to isolate a few people and leave the rest of the citizenry, engrossed in the challenges that confront us daily, I think is not smart.
But since you understand the parliamentary processes, you followed it for some time, when such allies are withdrawn, what happens?
Well, sometimes when they are withdrawn, they go back and try to either redo them and bring them back, or sometimes they just leave them to lapse. And I think in this case, I would strongly suggest the latter, because no matter how you look at it, I think they have to be sensitive to what people are going through. And also at a time when we are seeing a rise of, citizen activism. People are trying to copy what happened in Kenya. We don't want that. Our leaders and lawmakers should spare us that.
Okay.
We saw what happened yesterday with organized labor and all the matters arising. I think they have to be very, very careful, and they have to be sensitive to the plight of the people that they represent. We can't vote for people, hire them, and they will come and have a life that is more comfortable than ours, especially on matters like this.
Okay,
but it's enough to give them other conditions, but I think this one they have to come again.
Should this influence government, Parliament, for example, in how they go about instrument going forward? Because people are calling for more participation in the process. So consultation, must this, sort of influence government on how it consult on these instruments that it lays in Parliament?
Yes, indeed. I think if government will not even do it, I think Parliament should. Now, Parliament has what is called the Citizens Bureau. And the role of that bureau is supposed to coordinate the concerns and inputs that citizens have, either on the lawmaking process or oversight or whatever Parliament is doing. I think we should all take advantage of that, and Parliament should try and use that. Because you see, this today. I've been in a program actually, presenting a manual that our center has just developed for Parliament on how to engage citizens and the importance of citizen engagement. I mean, when all of us have a voice and we see our input in instruments like this, I think it gives a lot of legitimacy. You will not face the kind of embarrassment that Parliament is facing now if it was participatory, if there was inclusion, and if it was open to the public. Maybe the thing would have even died before it got to the stage where we have gotten to right now.
If you listen to the public, it looks as though, the ambulance service is captured there. The police service is also captured there. If we do away with some of the members of the public or the officers listed here, is this a good ally to stand? For example, if you take out members of parliament and probably ministers of state?
A few years ago, I don't know whether a few years, but some time ago, I think I remember either the vice president or somebody, just to cure the madness on our roads, said that they were going to enforce, the IGP is going to enforce the rule about, who can use siren. I think there are just a few categories of people.
That was in 2021. There was even a letter from the presidency to that
exactly.
effect. Mm.
So I would have thought that they would rather be enforcing that because, they said those things and nobody paid attention. So rather than, trying to bring more confusion in the space, they should go back and enforce that. I see the IGP on the Spintex Road. Sometimes I see him driving in traffic. Mm. If there's no emergency, we should all deal with the traffic. The emergency is ambulance. And the emergency or the exemption is president, vice president, speaker.
Okay.
I think that is what we see in civilized countries. Everybody else be in the queue and let's put order on the roads and let's make sure that all of us obey. I listened to the person who was speaking before me. Rather than trying to maybe take a more kind of comprehensive look at what happens to public transport, what happens to our railway system. We have a whole minister for railways. In most countries, the railway system has cured all these kind of challenges. You get out from your house, 2 minutes, you are in the train station, and you jump on the train. In some countries, it's a burden to own a car. These are some of the things that our parliamentarians and policymakers should be thinking about. In other countries, you go, you can, there are kind of spaces that are created. You can park your car, jump on public transport. Within a few minutes, you are in the city center, you conduct your business, go back and pick your car and go. In other countries, they impose congestion fees. If you don't have any serious business doing in the central business district, you don't drive your car at certain times. All those things are things that they need to think through carefully so that can reduce the congestion on our roads and that can make the road safe for everyone.
Dr. Roman, I'm grateful to you for joining us. Dr. Williams Aka, I'm grateful to you. But if you were to suggest, one thing for government to ponder, the transport minister, at this point in time, what will it be?
I'll go with the public transport system, which is very important. A city like Accra, a city like Kumasi needs an efficient public transportation system. We cannot go the way we are going, where we have one person occupying a vehicle on the road.
Dr. Aka, I'm grateful to you for joining, and this has been Top Story. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Up next is Newsnight.
Do you want a healthy smile?
Are you concerned about your child's dental health? Hi, I'm Tanya from Bethel Dental Clinic, Ghana. We believe in establishing good oral hygiene habits early is essential for your child's long-term dental health. Baby teeth, also called primary teeth or milk teeth, will fall out and be replaced by permanent teeth starting at around 6 years old. So it's tempting to think that primary teeth are not important, but in reality, those baby teeth are very important. Your child's first dental visit will include a complete exam, cleaning, and a fluoride treatment to protect the teeth. Your dental office should ensure that your child's dental visit is comfortable, gentle, and welcoming. Schedule your first dental visit today and give them the gift of a lifetime of healthy smiles.
Healthy smile.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana mada with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Kind of way, tell you so the more money promo now.
Everybody likes money, but what do we like more than money? More money! Join the Telecel More Money promo and win money, more money, and even more money. Simply opt in for free and reload your mobile and broadband and be the lucky winner of the 1 million Ghana cedis grand prize. Also win cash prizes of up to 3 million Ghana cedis in the daily and weekly draws. Opt in for free by dialing *500# or send WIN to 500, or you can opt in on the Telecel Play app. The more you reload, the higher chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. Keep loading, win, and be a millionaire.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
In the next 60 minutes here on Newsnight, new majority leadership affects changes in Parliament's committees. Chairman of the Energy Committee, Samuel Atachia, moved to the Local Government Committee, whilst Patrick Yaboama replaces Kweku Kwarteng as head of the Finance Committee. We are live in Parliament for details as NDC MPs assume chairmanship of a number of key committees, including Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa becoming the new chairman of Government Assurances Committee. Also tonight, the GJA, GIBA and the Media Foundation for West Africa joined forces to condemn the increasing spate of irresponsible journalism in the country.
So there are laws. The frequencies that have been given belong to the state. At any point in time, frequencies can be taken back. And so when people go overboard, the laws can be applied.
We have reactions to that also tonight. Organized labor serves notice of a new era of less dialogue, more action, as it braces for intense advocacy and protest on broader issues of national concern. We hear from the leadership of organized labor as they vow to unleash their full might to protect the Ghanaian worker.
If we have to demonstrate, put boots on the ground, stay on the street for 3 days. Because we've also come to the realization that one day, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Demonstration, people don't really fear.
In business, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison reveals Citi has started responding to recent developments in the economy.
And in sports, Heartofok and Kumasi Asante Kotoko promise an exciting game in the maiden edition of the Democracy Cup, with both clubs poised to outclass each other tomorrow at the Crash Sports Stadium.
Also tonight, Upper West Regional Coordinating Council offers 100,000 cedi reward for anyone who gives information leading to the arrest of killers of a driver's mate in the Upper West region. Details, as the regional minister says, ritual motives cannot be ruled out of the investigations.
The experts are telling us that looking at the blood that usually flows, the quantity that usually pours is not enough, and therefore these people are probably collecting the blood, and so that is why the slaughter.
You want to stay for details of that and also tell you the story of Dr. Kwame Sakwa Edu, the Joy News impact maker for rural livelihood empowerment, who has pledged to use his prize money to buy bicycles to support students in his community.
This award, I'm going to top it up. I'm topping it up. I'm going to buy 10 bicycles to the children in Dombokrom area.
And Emefa Power, we've been expecting these changes. That shake-up in Parliament is finally here, and some very interesting names moving around as far as the committees are concerned. Alexander Fenyo-Marking, as you know, the new leadership that took over sometime early this year, they are making the changes, and tonight they've made a number of them. The leadership of the committees have now moved around a bit. Changes in the chairmanship of the Energy Committee, for example. Samuel Atachia has been moved now to the Local Government Committee, with the chairman of that committee, Emmanuel Akwesi-Gyamfi, now taking his place. Chairman of the Finance Committee will now be Patrick Yabuama, who replaces Kweku Kwating, whom we've been told will now head to the Economic Committee. And there's been some controversy around that. In fact, the NDC MPs had told us way before this happened that there was a plot to remove him because of his opposition to government's insistence of pushing through a bill that would have given more than $400 million worth of tax breaks to companies in this country. Now, NDC MPs now chair at least 10 of some of the most important committees, including Northong MP Samuel Kudeta Blakwa, who is now the chairman of the powerful Government Assurances Committee, which monitors all assurances made in Parliament by government officials. Let's bring in our parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, who joins us right now. Kweku, what are some of the other changes that we are learning tonight that is causing a bit of a stir in Parliament?
Well, Evans, if you look at the Finance Committee, just like you mentioned, Patrick Boama, who used to be the vice chair, is now taking over from his boss, Kweku Kwating, who has now been removed as the chairman of the Finance Committee. Look at the minority setup on that committee; they still maintain it. Isaac Adongo is still the ranking member. The Honorable Richard Achampong is the deputy ranking member. There's new so-called committee on the economy. If you look at the new standing orders, there's a new committee that will focus on the economy, National Development Planning Commission, and all that. That committee will now be chaired by the minority, and the name that the minority have put forward is Kweku Reketegan, himself a former deputy finance minister, going to chair that. There were a lot of talk about Kweku Kwating becoming the ranking or the spokesperson of the majority side. That has not happened. We are getting some indication that Kweku Kwating says, if it's not a finance committee that I'm going to chair, then I'm not going to be in the leadership of any committee. Amapuma Boateng, a former deputy communications minister, is now the ranking on that committee. There's also now a new committee on private members' bill, as per the new standing orders, that is supposed to look at the influx of private members' bill that is now being filed by members. The first deputy speaker, Joseph Osewusu, will now chair that committee, and Francis Xavier Susu, who himself has sponsored the most private members' bill in the life of Ghana's parliament, is now the ranking on that committee. There's also now a budget committee, which is now an offshoot of the bigger finance committee. It is to be chaired by NDC MP Thomas Ampemnyako, and then Tina Mensah of the majority side will now become the ranking member. The local government committee used to be chaired by the MP for Odo Tobri, who is now moved to go and chair the energy committee. So Akwesi-Gyamfi will now move from the committee on local government to the committee on energy. It is no longer the mines and energy committee. It is now just energy committee to focus on that. And Atacha is no longer on the energy committee. John Jinapo will continue in that role as the ranking member on the energy committee. When you look at the foreign affairs committee, Dr. Rashid Pelpo used to be the ranking member on the lands and natural resources committee. He is now the ranking member on foreign affairs, taking over from Samuel Okudita Blakwa, who has now been moved to chair the government assurances committee. So lands and natural resources, like I said, used to be ranked by Dr. Rashid Pelpo. Alhassan Sumini now gets to be the boss on that committee in terms of the minority being the ranking. The Works and Housing Committee has also almost always been chaired by the government side. It is now chaired by the minority in the current architecture of the House. And Honorable Opon Samoa is the chairman, an NDC MP. Andrew Dari Chiwute is now the vice chair, an NDC MP. The Communications Committee, Mahama Yerga has now been moved from the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee in terms of leadership structure to come and be the ranking member on the Communications and Information Committee. That means Alhaji ABF Hussein, who used to be the minority ranking on that committee, is no longer there. Sam George retained as deputy ranking. If you look at the Defense and Interior Committee, it is still chaired by Honorable Kennedy Japan. The ranking is still James Agaga, but the vice ranking, which used to be Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rollins, has now been moved, and the former senior police officer, Peter Lanchini Tobu, is now the deputy ranking on that committee.
So we've seen a lot of changes there in Parliament, and I quickly want to move on to something else that has been playing out on the floor today. The controversial lithium agreement came to the floor today. In spite of the changes that we've seen already, we've seen some divisions at play, even among the minority MPs, to the point where Kwame Agboja, who is the minority chief whip, was asking the second deputy speaker not to refer a matter to the Mines and Energy Committee, as we've just been detailing there, a committee which had John Jinapor as a ranking at the time. What has been happening there?
Well, so first listen to Governor Kwame Agboja make his case for why he believes that should not go to the Mines and Energy Committee, that we can bring in some of the antecedents and the things that we are learning about this open fight in Parliament today.
Concerns about mining in forests on water bodies and other things just because they want it to be passed. Mr. Speaker, there's nothing in our standing order today that will stop us from allowing them to lay. But be assured, you will not be allowed to cajole anybody to lay a lithium agreement for anyone to go and mine in a reserve forest. Even if it will give us 10 trillion, we don't care. You'll be forced to do the right thing and make sure the environment is protected, not for you and I only, but for the future generations yet unborn. So we are not going to stand in your way of laying it, but the committee that this will be referred to. And Mr. Speaker, we are just about to approve the new committees under the new standing order. People have been attempting for this to be referred to a joint committee. Today, we are encouraging you to refer this to only the Committee of Lands, yes, and Natural Resources. This idea, yes, because this idea of this joint committee creates a problem. Mining has nothing to do with energy. Mining is a land and natural resource matter. So, Mr. Speaker, we were hoping that we will complete the setting up of the committees today before we make the referral. Those who are pushing for this to be laid ahead of time should know this will not be referred to Mines and Energy and Lands Committee. It must necessarily go to the Lands and Natural Resource Committee only. And we shall follow up to make sure that the right thing is done for this country. No one is allowed to mine, and then when we do this, and then the people are crying their communities, the Parliament absorbs itself. It is our responsibility to approve the agreement and do the oversight of this, Mr. Speaker. Those are the only things I have to say before we go ahead.
So that there is Governor Kwame Agboja, who is a minority whip on the floor today on that subject of the lithium. And quickly, what was happening in the background? While this was happening, there was some disagreement that was visibly on the floor or within the NDC minority members.
Yes, we are picking some indication that the minority chief whip was making this point because the NDC MPs are afraid of an apparent conflict of interest. The lithium mining agreement was signed by the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, which is headed by Samuel Abu Jinapor. Before these new committees was passed, the Mines and Energy Committee used to be ranked by John Jinapor. These are brothers. And there are those that are saying that the unspeakable thing in what Kwame Agboja was doing on the floor was that they do not want a situation where brothers are going to be in terms of the persons deciding on this matter. And that is why, and in fact, what Governor Kwame Agboja was in his feet, John Jinapor himself was up already, saying that he felt slighted with the way his own chief whip was going about the matter on the floor of the House.
I do admit that there's a new standing order. And I do admit that there's been a transition. I am not challenging the chief whip of the minority side, and I dare not challenge him. Because if I have issues, I will discuss it with him personally so that we resolve this matter. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, nobody is rushing for any referral to be made to a committee. I'm sure that, Mr. Speaker, you are competent enough to determine that based on the gravamen of the subject matter, you want one committee, two committees, or leadership of a certain committee to join another committee. And that has always been our practice. But to rise up and say that under no circumstance will you go to this committee, and under no circumstances will you go to the other committee. I think it's premature. It's premature. So I would plead with the minority chief whip. If you want the new committees to be constituted, let's do that. It is in your court. If you constitute new committees, wherever you take us, we will serve there and work for you. But such comments, I will plead with him. You should hold it, because as mines and energy ranking, when you refer to my committee and you make such a statement, it really hurts a little. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And Kweku, how did the second deputy speaker who was presiding at the time rule on this?
The second deputy speaker did defy the chief whip. He referred this report to both the Lands and Natural Resources Committee as well as the then Mines and Energy Committee. But as we know now, per the new standing orders and per the new committees that have just been approved like an hour ago, there is no longer a Mines and Energy Committee. So that referral is now moved. The Speaker of Parliament himself took the chair, and Alassane Suhuyini did raise that issue on the floor, asking the Speaker to refer the agreement to only the Natural Resources Committee, because according to them, the Mines and Energy Committee is no longer functional. There's only an Energy Committee. The Speaker of Parliament did accept that request. He varied the referral that had earlier been made, and so the lithium mining agreement, as well as another bauxite mining agreement, has now been referred solely to the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, with the Speaker asking the leadership, including the chief whips, to join in and assist the committee.
I mean, what about the Speaker himself? Did he intervene at some point?
Yes, the Speaker of Parliament, like I was saying, did come in now and varied the order that had been made by the Deputy Speaker, that report should go to both the Lands and Natural Resources Committee as well as the Mines and Energy Committee. Bagbin said that should no longer be the case. This should go straight to the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, which now has Alassane Suhuyini as the ranking member, and then the chief whips as well as other leadership should join in and assist.
My attention was drawn to referrals of some mineral agreements to Joint Committee on Lands and Energy, Lands and Energy Committees, Joint Committees. I have been looking at that referral, and I've had discussions. And because of the critical nature of the subject matter, I proposed, and leadership accepted, that we should rather refer those agreements to the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, with the additional directive that 4 members from the leadership of each side of the House should assist in the deliberation of the committee. Honorable members, these are critical agreements that will have to be scrutinized seriously. I will not participate in the debate, but I will be very vigilant, because for some time now, I belong to the school of thought that believe that we have not benefited from the natural endowment that God has so much blessed this nation. And it's all because of the agreements that we enter into with these private sector investors. Please, this time around, we will not hesitate in rejecting any agreement that we believe is not in the interest of the nation. The new composition of the committees, as we realize, have...
Well, the Speaker there talking about the composition of the new committees. I want to bring in Habib Idrisu, who's the Majority Chief Whip. Deputy joins us right now on the line. Mr. Idrisu, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you.
I mean, there's been one criticism, in fact, not only criticism, but from your minority colleagues, as far as the committee responsible for finance is concerned, where Kuku Kwarteng was there, they had constant in the public discussion said that the changes that had happened today, which obviously was as a result of the standing orders being changed, you were hiding behind that to remove him because of his opposition to the tax waivers. Is that what has happened?
No, that's far from the truth. We were actually not changing him for purposes relating to the tax waivers. If it was the case, we still have the right to have come before the floor, whether there was a new standing order or not, to change members of the committees or leadership of the committees from the majority side. In fact, the new standing orders, we were operating it partially because it has membership that vetted part of the some of the ministers that have just been approved, that we use the new standing orders to constitute the appointment committee. We use it to be able to, that's what is guiding us in Parliament at the moment. But it has actually not been fully operationalized as a result of the fact that members of various committees were not constituted. So the selection committee had, back and forth, and even if you look at it very well, you could see that some of the committees are chaired by people in the minority. It was always not the case because the majority used to chair where the minority used to be ranking. But with these new standing orders, you see that the minority are chairing some committees and the majority are being ranking in those committees. So it is never the case that it has been done and then hiding under it to change the chairman of the finance committee. If you quite remember, the majority leader had hinted some 2 weeks ago that the chairman of the finance committee, Kweku Kwarteng, will be taking a new role where he will be the spokesperson on the economy on the side of the majority. And we think that we should have been able to free him of that position. But that is because it's critical position.
Yeah, but that is a demotion, is it not? I mean, a spokesperson on the economy from a chairman of a very powerful committee in Parliament in the Finance Committee. They had wide-ranging powers, including supervising with the Finance Ministry and looking strictly at budgets that come before Parliament.
No, but he has done that for close to 4 years because he was the chairman of the Finance Committee until today. And then we have about 5 months to election or 4 months to election. So we needed him, the experience he has had as Deputy Minister for Finance for 4 years, the experience he has had as the chairman, to blend it for us. He can handle issues that have to do with the economy. Mind you, when you look at the minority side, they always try to talk about the economy. We needed somebody who can be able to speak to us on that directive. And the majority, the most important thing is that the majority caucus hasn't done that changes or changed him in person because he was in opposition to something. He's part of the government, the majority caucus.
So he's going to be the spokesperson. He's going to be the spokesperson on economy now.
Yes.
And he couldn't have done that. He couldn't have done that as a chair.
He's the member of the economic committee too.
Yeah, but he couldn't have done that as a chair of the finance committee.
Yeah, because the chairman of the finance committee, is too busy to do certain things. And if we allow him to be the chairman, he might not have the time to be able to handle certain things for us.
In substance, what is the difference between this committee, this economic committee, and the finance committee you used to chair?
If you look at the economic committee, our standing orders, it look at loans and other items as may deemed necessary by the Speaker reference. So the economic committee is separated from the finance committee. So majority of the loan agreements and other things now will be going to the economic committee, and other financial related issues will be going to the finance committee. I don't have my standing order with me where I could be able to relate with the portions of the standing orders that actually explain this position.
Thank you very much. And that there is Habib Idrisu. He is a Deputy Majority Whip in Parliament. Interesting changes in the House today on the back of the new standing orders taking effect. Let's hear from you. 055-11-11997.
Now, Evans, this afternoon, the Ghana Journalists Association, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, and the Media Foundation for West Africa today joined forces. They held a press conference seeking to condemn the increasing spate of irresponsible journalism in the country. Well, we'll take turns to hear the submissions of those who spoke at this particular press conference. And the Executive Secretary of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleimana Brahima, is urging media houses to exercise caution regarding an ethical statement made by some journalists in recent times. Now, he warns that such irresponsible utterances could lead to severe consequences, including the revocation of licenses. If we do not take a look at that, they would not wait for violations before they start speaking up about it. We can hear from the GJA president also, Albert Jumfo. He led on the part of the GJA, and he urged the media to fact-check information first off as we head into the elections. And he emphasized that accurate reporting is crucial for maintaining public trust and the credibility of journalism.
The GJA, GIBA, Printpack, Media Foundation for West Africa, a new media association, therefore caution all journalists, media practitioners, and media organizations to be cautious of their utterances and reportage on their platform to save the country from slipping onto the path of violence with its attendant consequences. It is important to note that this caution is not a gag on the right to free expression, given that there are decorous means and avenues for journalists and citizens to express their opinions loud and clear. I want to assure you all that we remain resolute in our defense for media freedom, and that requires us to also champion media professionalism. We will take this opportunity to also caution the media on the need to fact-check. Recently, we were embarrassed by the third event emanating from one Chef Smith reportage. We want to take this opportunity to advise all the media that henceforth, apart from corporate bodies, political parties, and identifiable groups, any persons or group of persons that invite the media for a press conference, editors must do well, need to carry out background check to ascertain their veracity before the assembly.
Well, we can also hear now from the Executive Secretary of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleimana Brahima.
That Media General, that Onua FM is a part of, is managed by reputable people. We know some of the people on the board of directors of Media General. And so, first of all, we are appealing to their conscience. And I know that I'm quite convinced that an action will be taken, because this is something that is just below the belt. And knowing the people that I know on the board and management of Onua FM, I think it would be quite surprising that they allow this to pass. As we always say, one of the most dangerous threats to press freedom or media freedom is unprofessional conduct. And so, as advocates of press freedom and media freedom, it would be very, very negligent on our part to look at things that could undermine press freedom and be quiet about it and only speak up when violations occur. So there are laws. I mean, the frequencies that have been given belong to the state. At any point in time, frequencies can be taken back. We do know that not too long ago, some 4 stations were shut down in Boku. Boku is part of Ghana. They are also FM stations. And so when people go overboard, the laws can be applied. You can be taken to court for defamation, and you have to defend yourself. If you go about, you breach the laws outrightly, your frequency can be taken back. And I don't think that we would at any point in time say, oh, anything goes. And so when frequencies are taken back, we say, oh, why are frequencies taken back? When your conduct is dangerous for the state, your conduct undermines our stability, our peace, and our democracy, I don't think that it's something that we would tolerate. And so it's important that we are mindful that there are laws regulating the industry, and therefore we cannot just do anything and say, because we are journalists, we will always want to be free.
I want to bring in the president of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, Cecil Sinkwamils. He was also at this press conference and joins me right now. Cecil, thanks for your time here on Newsnight. What prompted this press conference?
Thank you, Vance. What prompted this was, I think, last weekend, there was one of the presenters, popularly known as Captain Smart. Sorry, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. There was a video which was distributed on our platform. In the temperament and the content of that presentation, we found that quite extreme. So we had a meeting as a coalition, and we decided to come together and give one voice and one position on the nature of that broadcast that was done, which we found not acceptable.
But it begs the question, what really can the organization do? As in yourselves, you come together to form a coalition, but they are members of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association. This is simply admonishing the media houses.
Well, we have been known very well in the past to fight very strongly, especially when media houses are tracking with the phone. But in the same way, we believe that when media houses or journalists or presenters or hosts are pushing the extreme pattern, we need to voice it out. For GIBA and for GJA, we have our internal procedure, which we go according to our code of conduct and then the code of ethics, where we have some punishment that will meted out. But some of the cases like this one, we thought we should handle it more publicly. Therefore, we see as very fair when these things happen on both sides.
Well, the media organization in question is a member of GIBA. Have you directly spoken to their leadership there?
We have engaged. Just a point of correction. Onia TV is not a member, but Onia FM is a member. However, when these things happen, we tend to go for all stations.
And when you reached out to them, what was the point you're making to them? And did they take that in good faith?
We've had a number of discussions. It's not yet completed. They're going to come back to us with some kind of action. So we will stand by.
But what are you asking for? I'm curious.
For us, it is first of all is the concern of they're not a member, but basically the kind of broadcast that happened was completely against the code of conduct of broadcasting that is expected from one of their stations. This they acknowledged, but said they will come back. So we have outlined exactly where the dissatisfaction is and how extreme this can start up something. So we've had a discussion, and it's still ongoing.
I get a sense that you also want to name and shame.
Well, I believe that is what we've done, and it may not be the first and the last time, because I think it's very fair that when it is extreme, we actually voice it out. When it is not, then we also do.
What about getting the authorities involved, NCA, NMC? You still have a right to file an official complaint.
Well, let's see how it evolves, and then we will take it from there.
Thank you very much, Cecil. Cecil Sunkwamels is the president of Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association. On the press conference that was held jointly by themselves, the GJA, the Media Foundation for West Africa, they're concerned about the unprofessional conduct of journalists. What do you make of that? 055-11-11997.
Let's do business. George Riafe is here with the very latest from the world of business. George, what do we have?
Well, Emefa, coming up, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison reveals Cedi has started responding to recent developments in the economy. And more oil firms are increasing prices of petroleum products at the pumps as most of them respond to depreciating local currency and rising price of crude on the international market. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business.
Luxurious, affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator Courts is a gated community with 2 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofa Line Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Hey, so as for you, every day you are just pressing your phone. Why? Are they paying you?
They are, Oma. The more I use my MTN, the more points I get. And I can use those points to get airtime, data, and even discounts at shops and restaurants.
Hey, so that is why all of you are always pressing your phones. And you won't tell us, so that we too we can enjoy some.
Oh, ma.
There's always more to enjoy with MTN Rewards. Just keep talking, testing, and browsing all day, every day to collect your points and use it to redeem amazing offers and discounted freebies right away. There's so much available for you. So dial *550# and get your reward today. Let's go everywhere you go.
Kweku, have you heard what they are doing on MTN?
Choboy! Yeah. We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe mamu more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe mamu lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal Pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
The luckiest *712#. Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah.
Here's to the friends who dialed *712# and found no regrets. To the investors who struck gold. To the health workers who diagnosed luck with precision. To the tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, here's to you. Your next big win is right here.
Luck is everywhere for everyone.
Dial *712#. Now join in the luckiest winning celebration. Every 1st July 2024. Over dial *712#. Now I can to tickets as a group, individual, and now even as a community. Now win is the car prizes are in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with *712#. Now join in the winning streak now.
The luckiest
*712#.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison has revealed that the city has started responding to recent developments in the economy. The local currency has struggled to stabilize against the US dollar, despite government closing the deal with bilateral lenders and some progress made But other external creditors, however, the local currency is yet to show some strong recovery. But speaking at the SME Growth Opportunity Summit in Accra today, Dr. Addison noted that things have improved slightly.
Bank of Ghana has stepped up efforts to bring inflation under control, eliminate monetary financing of the budget, and rebuild foreign currency buffer. The gross international reserves position has improved. The level of reserves increased to about 6.59 billion, representing 3 months of import cover as at the end of April. The exchange rate, which recently came under some pressure, has begun to stabilize as uncertainty surrounding the progress of debt restructuring negotiations with external creditors had been eliminated, and the Bank of Ghana's gold purchase program has overperformed.
Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison. Now, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has described the 8 billion Ghana Cedis Growth and Opportunity Program as the largest SME fund initiative in the country. The Trade and Finance Ministries today jointly launched the initiative that will provide targeted funding to small businesses in the country. Initiative could provide up to 300,000 Ghana Cedis to each beneficiary. The Finance Minister Mohamed Amin Adam has been given details on how this initiative would be funded.
Because this morning alone, we heard from the IFC announce the commitment of $400 million to this program. And we also heard from the African Development Bank another support of $45 million United States dollars. This is testament, ladies and gentlemen, to the confidence in the Ghanaian economy, to create a better ecosystem, our SMEs. Our implementing partners, Ghana Enterprise Agency, Ghana Exim Bank, Development Bank Ghana, and IFC possess the expertise and capacity to deliver results swiftly. We have consulted with stakeholders, including the Association of Ghana Industry and Civil Society, design, selection criteria, and financing instruments tailored to meet the needs of high-growth potential SMEs.
Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam is the Minister of Finance. Now, more oil marketing firms are increasing prices of petroleum products at the pumps. The latest is Allied that has also adjusted values at their respective service stations across the country. There is more in the flowing Business Desk report. Allied Oil, for instance, is selling a litre of petrol at 13 Ghana Cedis, 93 pesos. Diesel, on the other hand, is going for 14 Ghana Cedis, 48 pesos. Joy Business understands that more oil marketing firms are working to also increase their prices at the pumps. We are also learning that some other oil marketing firms have priced based on the outlook for the Ghana cedi. This should mean that we could be witnessing more hikes in prices of petroleum products at the pumps in the coming weeks. Firms like the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers have argued that one of the surest ways to deal with this challenge is to look at reviewing some taxes on petroleum products in the country. The recent hikes could go a long way to increase the general prices of goods and services in the country and the cost of doing business, as well as living. And that is a Business Desk report. Now, majority of bank customers value quick in-branch service, but most of them pushing for shorter wait time with their respective banks. Now, that's according to the 2024 Ghana Banking Survey report released by accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers. Customers also expected that despite the strict regulation in the industry, they want more freedom to access their banks anytime. The survey also revealed that majority, approximately 42% of bank customers, chose WhatsApp as the everyday communication channel with their respective banks. Now, MTN Ghana is urging small and medium-sized companies to adopt digital solutions in their day-to-day operations to enhance efficiency. Abubakari Sadiq Mohammed, head of SME at MTN, urged entrepreneurs to stay abreast with time by investing in education. He spoke to Joy Business at the MTN's SME training and capacity building, which forms part of the telecom company's SME month.
SMEs must make it a point to make learning as something that it should be a continuous thing. They should be learning new skills. They should be learning about digitization. They should be learning about how they'll be able to access funding. That we have AI. These are all tools available within the digital arena or landscape that they'll be able to adopt to be able to develop their businesses, and then they will be able to grow. Because we in the MTN, we are looking at how do we grow these SMEs and also how do they develop, because they need to grow before they can develop. So these are some of the things that we MTN is doing to ensure that we're able to support our SMEs.
Abubakar Sadiq Mohammed is head of SME at MTN Ghana. Now, Samsung is partnering with more financial institutions to help Ghanaians acquire mobile devices at affordable and convenient terms. The move is aimed at ensuring that more people have access to the newly launched artificial intelligence phones by Samsung. Marketing manager for Samsung Electronics, Tracy Che, disclosed this to Joy Business at the launch of a new Frontier Galaxy AI infused with the Z series in Accra.
So what we've been doing since the S24 is we've partnered with a couple of financial institutions. Example is Stanbic, UMB, Access, and we're ready to bring on board more financial institutions who are able to give the devices for installment packages. So we have flexible financing for these devices. You can pay up to 24 months installment for the device. Some of the banks even offer interest-free financing. That's if you pay within 6 months. So these are some of the things that we're doing for the devices.
And is this open for all?
So it is open for those who save with the bank. Yes, and if you don't even save with the bank, you can always go to the bank and discuss with them which ways or which alternatives there is for you to get the device.
Tracy Che is the marketing manager at Samsung Electronics. And that's all for business on News Night.
And Joe, thank you very much. And I know one of the stories that you have been talking about all morning is the rising cost of fuel at the pumps.
Yeah.
And the projection is that if the city doesn't stabilize, then we're going to see prices climb even further.
Yeah, you're right on that one.
Okay. And all the other OMCs are now beginning to reflect.
Yeah, we have about 150 or about 200 oil marketing companies. We are looking at the major oil firms, and since morning they've done it. Shell has gone up, Star has gone up, and we're seeing the others also joining. Total will be going up soon. I think it's gone up or so by now. Gold hasn't gone up, but we could be seeing more of the firms doing these adjustments by the close of today and even going into tomorrow morning as well.
Well, this has become an issue in Parliament, and the minority has been speaking to this, asking the Vice President to step in and help address the challenge, which is something you've been reporting. The prices of petrol is now at 15 cedis.
Yeah, about 10, 15, 52, 15, 70 for some as well.
The minority spokesperson of Mines and Energy, John Junapo, says instead of calling for debate, the Vice President must ensure the CD is stabilized and fuel prices are reduced.
Today, as you may be aware, the price of a litre of fuel is higher than it used to be for a gallon of fuel. During our time, the gallon of fuel was about 14 cedi. Today, a litre is about 15 point something cedi. The Gold for Oil program, our checks indicate that it's causing serious financial loss to the state. As if that is not enough, the exchange rate is depreciating. As if that is also not enough, fuel prices keep going up. Last week it went up, this week it's gone up. This will certainly impact inflation, it will impact productivity, and it will make the cost of living high. And it's all because of the exchange rate. And so clearly, government has lost it. Government is unable to handle the exchange rate. And I think that the managers of the economy ought to sit up and do what is right and proper. Whilst the Bank of Ghana is spending millions of cedis and dollars on the Gold for Oil program, the currency is not stabilizing. The cedi is depreciating, fuel prices are going up, cost of living is going up, and everybody is suffering. But worst of all, wages and salaries are stagnating. Wages and salaries are not going up. And so, hitherto, under President Mahama, whilst you could buy 2 bags of rice with your minimum wage, today you cannot even buy 1 bag of rice with your minimum wage. The managers of the economy have lost it. And I think that Dr. Bawumia, instead of calling for a debate, he should rather spend some time to concentrate on managing the economy, because the cost of living is going through the roof. We cannot continue like that.
And I want to take you to the Shanti region still on this particular matter, where the United Drivers Association in the region say vehicle owners are taking back their vehicles following the dwindling sales owing to the recent fuel price hikes. The union disclosed the rising cost of fuel has rendered the commercial transport business unprofitable, with the sector experiencing near collapse. There's more on this report.
Prices of fuel have increased at some pump stations, selling at 15 Ghana cedis 10 pesos. The incessant increase in fuel is impacting the commercial transport sector as some drivers make losses. Spokesperson for the United Drivers Association Ashanti, Eric Darcy, says some vehicle owners are repossessing their cars, leaving many drivers jobless. Many drivers have parked their cars not because of their bad attitude. The owners have taken their cars back. Maintenance is now expensive. The drivers are using their daily sales for fuel. Some commuters are frustrated by the unending fuel price surge. How much are we earning as citizens?
Within the month now, the focus over 500 cities.
The government must do something.
For now,
What's the essence of the toll? Until the city gains stability against the dollar, commuters and drivers will continue to bear the ripples of fuel price hikes. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
And I'll be sharing your thoughts on that and more here on Newsnight pretty shortly. But let's do sports now. Ms. Bowers here with the latest.
Yeah, events tomorrow. There's a big game. It's the maiden edition of the Democracy Cup coming up at the Accra Sports Stadium between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Heart of Folk. Now, the game is in celebration, marking the 30th anniversary of Ghana's Parliament. And both clubs, coming off disappointing seasons, are eager to claim the new Democracy Cup trophy and bring some joy to their fans. They held a press conference ahead of the game tomorrow, and captain of both sides, Kumasi Asante Kotoko goalkeeper Frederick Asari, and of Accra Heart of Folk captain Kevin Osei Sibe, have been promising some excitement at the Accra Sports Stadium come tomorrow evening.
It's a new era. Players are out, new players are in. And as the coach said, we've trained well. What has happened is something of the past. And tomorrow the narrative is going to change. From tomorrow, the narrative about House winning the cup is going to change.
When you talk about House of Folk, it's about the supporters. Supporters in the House of Folk and House of Folk.
Yeah, so that's the big game coming up. Evans, so the game is at 6 p.m. But before that game comes off, there's going to be a game between the former Black Stars and the members of Parliament. And that's something you might want to see.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm not sure which parliamentarian would like to see play kick the ball.
I'm not sure. It would be quite a nice.
I want to see Harun Idrisu because
Harun Idrisu looks.
He's very sporty.
Yeah, looks in shape. Sporty. But you can imagine the other members of Parliament, running around on the pitch. We must have at least 5 ambulances on standby. How the defibrillators ready to go.
How the minority leader can force him or fair to, it would be nice to see.
We'll see.
Yeah, even as well. That's the update we'll go for you.
Well, thank you very much. And the winner of the Joy News Impact Makers Award in Rural Livelihood Empowerment, Dr. Kwame Sakwa Edu, says he will dedicate his prize money to further improving rural Ghana. Now, Dr. Edu is topping up his prize money to buy bicycles for 10 pupils in Donkokrom in the Kwehu Afram Plains North District of the Eastern Region of Ghana. He made this revelation when he paid a courtesy call on the Joy Newsroom. There's more in the following report.
Joy News Impact Maker, Livelihood Empowerment. Dr. Kwame Sakwa Edu.
Awarded at the second edition of the Joy News Impact Makers Award for his dedication to improving rural livelihoods across Ghana and beyond, Dr. Kwame Sakwa Edu has tirelessly promoted beekeeping as a sustainable income source for rural communities such as Donkokrom in the Kwewu Afram Plains district in the eastern region. He explained to Joy News the inspiration behind what he does.
The big project started with honey hunters, like you heard from my bit. They went into the Dija National Park and they went there in the night to fell trees and kill bees and harvest honey. That was illegal. They got caught. They were sent to court and fined and imprisoned. So we intervened and just told them, you could do this at your backyard. Keep bees at your backyard and make money.
He also announced plans to top up his cash prize of 4,000 cedis to buy bicycles for children in Donkokrom and surrounding communities in the eastern region.
Children walk 5 kilometers in, and when they close, so I decided, I started some, maybe 5 years, I'm not sure. I've given 2 tranches of 10 bicycles to those school children in the community. So this award, I'm going to top it up. I'm topping it up, and I'm going to buy 10 bicycles to the children in Donkokrom area.
General Manager of Joy Brands of the Multimedia Group, Fifi Kumsin, pledged the company's support towards the works of impact makers such as Dr. Edu.
Like Kweku said, we will be very glad to cover, all the same presentations and, around this. Yeah. And you also have, I think, some airtime. You have a lot of airtime on our platforms.
Nicknamed the Honey Man, Dr. Edu and his team made sure every member of the newsroom had a taste of honey.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my honey. Did you get your honey?
Yes, I did.
You did, okay. I did something very interesting with it over the weekend. I'll tell you after here. So live your news
I
time.
want to know. Tell me now.
It's honey.
It doesn't look like it was food. You didn't eat it.
I did. It's what I used the honey for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't go through your mouth. I'm sure it went somewhere else. What did you do?
I will tell you.
Okay.
Organized labor have been fighting, and they won a major victory over the last 48 hours, compelling government, the board and management of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust to cancel the controversial sale of 60% stake in 4 top hotels. Well, a nationwide strike by all public sector workers, including doctors and nurses, nearly shut down the country yesterday. Now, organized labor is vowing to unleash its full force in the new era of advocacy and protest against broader issues of national concern. Listen to the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Kabonu, give us a breakdown of what they decided at the meeting that they held on this.
Labour has not been sleeping. Labour has been engaging. But we've gotten to a point where engagement is not yielding results and Labour ought to take certain actions. As you move down the line, as you move down the path, you re-strategize, you redirect your path, you recalibrate your strategies, and then you take actions accordingly. Evans, I want to assure you, like my brother Dr. Nyaku said, yes, we'll prioritize issues, but issues that will affect labor, issues that will affect our families, issues that will affect our nation, will raise our voices, and we expect the people we put at the helm of affairs to listen to us because they are working for us.
Well, Dr. Kwabena Nyaku, who is the Director of Research and Policy at the Trade Union Congress, says a new era will include a renewed dedication to protests.
Or simply to dialogue. So you remember that in 2018, we led an initiative to establish the a social partnership council. And the idea was that we were prioritizing dialogue. We have come to a point where we've realized that nobody was actually listening to us. We were talking. We put boots on the ground, stay on the street for 3 days. Because we've also come to the realization that one day, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Demonstration, people don't really fear. So if we have to now organize ourselves and make sure that we can stay on the street for 3 days to get what we want.
So that's the new era for organized labor. Protests that we're going to be seeing across the country, and a bit more advocacy on some of the key issues, Galam say, also sanitation and others. Let's go through a few of your messages before we wrap up. And this one from Heteka from Agonu says, in fact, fuel prices are going high in the country, so this MPP government must stabilize the city. And his view there is on that particular subject. And then talking about what we've seen when it comes to the mindset of MPs. This is Tanimu in Boku says, I'm alarmed by the mindset of our MPs for introducing the bill, and this is the bill on that will give the MPs the right to use their vehicles with sirens and also jump red lights. Their proposed bill to allow themselves to use their sirens is unnecessary, is his opinion on that. And the final one, just before we go, on the subject of journalists and professionalism, Justice says, I'm glad the media houses have done the right thing by ensuring that journalists adhere to the ethics of their work. The problem I personally have noticed in some radio stations in the Volta region is that radio presenters have become journalists by force, and they are using unprofessional presentation. But there's one gentleman who is very professional. You probably will see him if you read myjournalline.com. Today he's joining us with a very interesting conversation coming up. Emefa, who is this gentleman?
Kenneth Awoche is hosting Geek Squad tonight. Ken, what are we talking about?
Today we are talking about some new product that Samsung launched last week. We've been expecting them for quite some time now. There have been leaks, but they're officially out now. And
we all know where you stand when it comes to Samsung, so we'll just be waiting.
They're Galaxy products.
Stay for
but you have to stay for the rest of the details.
You know, the thing is that I love gadgets. I just can't afford them.
What? You can't afford, please.
You may be able to afford these ones, so just stick around and listen.
I mean, would they come and give us some 0%?
Evans, relax.
Stay for the Geek Squad.
Geek Squad up next.